Hey, Simone here, as always, with some ideas and insights what to pay attention to when you're scaling your business. So today I'm going to talk about hiring because I know it's hard to hire right now. There's a global labor shortage, wages and materials are up, productivity is down, and overall just can't find anybody to do the work. So that's the story I hear over and over and over every day. So I'm going to say something here that may make me unpopular. There are those who can hire and those who can't. So what makes the difference here? There's three things which you may not want to hear. So one, the story that you tell yourself. Two, how prepared you are to hire. Three, doing it differently from a different perspective, differently than you may have done it before. So let's take a look at what that really means. So one, the story that you tell yourself. So this may sound like a cop-out or some woo-woo excuse, but think about it. Whatever you believe, you focus on, and whatever you focus on, you influence. So when you believe in a negative situation, your actions will be affected negatively. Yes, all the obvious facts aside, the only thing that matters is this: how will you respond to the situation? So this is where you have the opportunity to join the global disempowering story, or decide that they're always the ones who can hire and they're the ones who can't. And whatever you believe in, you're right. So when you believe that you can't hire, you'll take all the failed attempts in the past and take them as evidence that this is the truth, and so your actions will become limited. You'll be frustrated and disappointed and maybe even angry, and just saying, but how attractive is a frustrated, disappointed, and angry person? So how creative will you be in this situation? Will you be living inside the box, or are you thinking and acting outside of it? Will you focus on what you need, which is needy is kind of repulsive, right? Or will you focus on all the opportunities, the growth, the impact, the contribution that you're opening up for the right human? So will you be inspired so you can be inspiring, or burnt out and tired, which is not so inspiring? So you see how important it is to tell yourself the story of the reality that you want to live in versus the one that everybody else lives in. So that was number one, the story you live in. Second thing that's huge is your preparedness factor, your readiness quotient. And this is so huge. No matter what position you are hiring for, you must know exactly why you're hiring for that position. What's the outcome that you expect that is in direct correlation to your revenue? How will this position impact your revenue and your profit margin? How will this position elevate your vision? How will hiring up impact your growth? So what would you have to achieve to make hiring up worth it? Right? This is the question. What's the difference your next level leader in this position would have to make so that it will impact all the related business areas? Do you have a living vision that you can share? And this is a very detailed 3-year strategic plan that helps your candidate understand why they would work with you. Not having that will lose you the deal before you even start, especially the younger generations, or anybody who really knows their worth will want to know, if they work with you, that you can lay out where you are going and what's in it for them. So you need to make sure that you have your culture dialed in and ready to showcase this, because just as important as it is for you to hire a team fit who understands and aligns with your standards and your values, this is also the place where they can make sure that this is the right environment for them and that they are brought into those values and plan on upholding and perpetuating them. So once you get further in your series of interviews, you'll need to be able to share your operational plan and your onboarding plan with them so that they can really understand your goals and your expectations. And for them, and you want to be able to see what kind of strategy they'd be bringing to the table so that they can help you up level to that next place. Hiring up is all about bringing in more strategies, so now you've opened up your skill set pool and your limits are getting pushed out. So you want to feel challenged and pushed when they talk about this, because if that's not what they're bringing, what are they, right? So also, they'll be able to see that you are fully able to support them, help them hit the ground running, and contribute from the time they join. As part of that, you want to be able to highlight your meeting structures, your one-on-ones, your feedback systems. So you see, being prepared really ensures that you can gauge how they can fit into the mix and mix it up for you. And it's also for them to see that your company is the exact right fit, the exact right place for them to bring their talent and growth, because that is the environment that you've created. So that was number 2, how prepared you are, your readiness quotient. And number 3, of course, is doing it differently. The big piece of this is that it's important for you to set the right expectations for yourself. In the past, you may have had to do a whole lot less to get qualified leads in the door, but your hiring success may have also been mixed because you haven't had the right hiring processes and structures in place, as we've been discussing. First of all, you have to be okay with the fact that that you may have to interview more people than you ever had before, because you're doing this right now from a much different perspective. You're being patient and you're making sure that you're getting the right fit instead of just a body to fill that position that you just so carefully defined. So finding the right person who's exactly the right fit has never been easy. And just right now, you're just dealing with a few more added challenges, but since you're much better prepared, it's all the same. So, in the past, so just putting an ad on LinkedIn or Glassdoor or whatever you use is really one of your last resorts. The best people to hire are always the people who already have jobs. That's why it's so important to build that pipeline so that when you do need to hire, you are already set up to move quickly. Part of building this pipeline has to be about putting in the time consistently to build this pipeline, which doesn't happen on its own. Part of your work as the CEO is to put the time aside every month, if not every week, to establish new relationships and nurture the ones you already have. People's attention span and memory is very short, so unless you stay top of mind when they're looking for a new opportunity, they won't think of you. Building this pipeline has to be something that is always top of mind for you, because when you do it right, you finish every conversation with really anybody you talk to with, hey, who do you know who we should know, because they would be a great fit, an awesome fit for our amazing company. So if you're not in the practice of asking these questions multiple times a day, you are leaving a ton of opportunity and talent on the table. So if you don't have a pipeline and you don't know how to or who to poach, and you will have to rely on cold advertising your position, don't do it just like everybody else is doing it by posting a job description. That really doesn't say a whole lot to anybody. You'll just sound like anybody else, and competition is tough out there right now. So, it's a buyer's market, and the great thing for you about this is that you will want to find the more discerning teammates who care about more things than the basics, which is compensation and benefits. Of course, everybody cares about that to a certain extent. We all want to have a good life, but your discerning teammate really wants to know that you have the environment in your company that they can be successful in. A lot of that RQ, that readiness quotient that I keep talking about, is founded on exactly what we've been discussing already. Your culture, your values, your plan, your accountability structures, and of course your support system that you have in place so that your team can be ever growing, evolving, and really push your company along, push your company to the next level, not the other way around. So unless you have all that stuff in place, honestly, you're dead in the water to start and set up for failure before you even get going. And of course, then there's that last resort, hiring a recruiter who's going to charge you a whole lot of money for anything that you actually hire, who they bring in the door. And can that be effective? Hell yeah, it totally can. And it can only be effective if they know your company like the back of their hand. And to get to that point, you'll have to do all the things that we've already been talking about. And, then there are lots of other great ways to show people and draw them in that are a whole lot more effective than posting just the basic job description. So if this is something that you're struggling with and you need just a little bit of help to start heading in the right direction, we have a brand new training out there right now that addresses all this in detail. In the training, I'll explain each of the 4 steps that make up our multi-million-dollar system in vivid detail so you can be equipped with all the knowledge that you need to get you started. So click on the link below, go to bulletproofstartups.com, and discover how to create a leadership system that will really help you hire the right people so that you can scale and sustain your business. Hope this helps, and I will see you next time.